Hello students, welcome to JCE Connect. Subject Engineering Geology 18 CV 36. So we have started with igneous rocks, and in today's class we will discuss the classification of igneous rocks, how these igneous rocks are classified. So just a revision, what are igneous rocks? Igneous rocks are the rocks which are formed by the cooling and consolidation of magma or lava. Those rocks are called as igneous rocks. So it is very difficult to classify all these igneous rocks in one particular character or a perfect or a general scheme of classification which is acceptable to all does not seem to be available in literature. So you cannot classify on a single basis all the igneous rocks. So there are many classifications which have been proposed by different workers depending upon their different characteristics of the igneous rocks. So there are four main bases for classification of these igneous rocks. So these igneous rocks are being classified based on, one is chemical classification, which is based on chemical composition of the rocks. Then the second classification is based on the it is called as textural classification, which is based on the texture of the rocks. Texture means the grains, internal arrangement of the grains, okay, whether they are coarse grain, fine grained, and this classification is also called as classification based on depth of origin. Textural classification is also called as classification based on depth of origin. Then we have the classification based on the mineral content. What percentage of mineral is present, based on that also the rocks are classified. And the last classification, that is the tabular classification, that is a recent one, and which is a very important one, but we are going to discuss with these three because this is very big, okay. It is in tabular form, which will not be asked in the exam, and it is a combination of all these, okay. They have included all these in one tabular form, so that is called as tabular classification. But we are going to deal with these three, so we'll see one by one in detail how these igneous rocks are being classified. So first comes the chemical classification. So as the name indicates, chemical classification is based on the chemical analysis or chemical composition of the rocks. So it is based on the chemical analysis of different rocks, okay. Then it is essential and useful for many purposes because we need to know what type of rock it is. So this basis of chemical classification makes the chemical composition as the fundamental character of igneous rock. So this classification is based on what? The chemical composition of the rocks. So it is called as chemical classification. So there were four petrologists who study the rocks. So in 1903, the four American petrologists, the name of those four persons are given here: the Cross, Edding, Pearson and Washington. These are the four American petrologists who have proposed the one classification that is called as CIPW classification. So here CIPW stands for Cross, Edding, Pearson and Washington. So these are the names of those four persons who have classified the igneous rocks. So what they did is, this classification is based on the chemical composition of the different rocks. Okay, and in this classification they have prepared a standard set of minerals and they have named it as a norm. Okay, what they did, they have analyzed the chemical composition of different rocks and they have prepared or they have classified a set of standard minerals and they are given name as norm. So what is norm? Norm is a standard set of minerals, they called it as a norm, and this norm is further divided into salic and phemic. Okay, salic group and phemic group. So most important of constituent of these two groups are salic and phemic. So what is mean by salic? Salic stands for the minerals which are rich in silica. Silica is Si. Okay, Si is the silica. So the minerals which are rich in silica, those are classified as siliceous mineral, and phemic are ferruginous, ferromagnesium. Phemic means iron, Fe is iron. Okay, and phemic means ferromagnesium. So ferromagnesium minerals are present in this. So what are these characters of siliceous and ferruginous? So siliceous will be light in color. Okay, and whereas phemic mineral or ferruginous minerals are dark in color. Okay, so why they are light and why they are dark in color is because of the minerals present in it. So mineral composition. So usually these all minerals are lighter in color and these are all the darker in color because they contain ferromagnesium minerals and these minerals contain the silica or siliceous mineral as the main composition. So this norm contains siliceous and ferromagnesium minerals. So here quartz, albite, anorthite, leucite, nepheline, corundum, zircon, these all are the names of the minerals which are belonging to salic minerals, and phemic minerals are these one, they are darker in color like diopside, hypostine, olivine, magnetite, ilmenite, hematite, apatite. So all these are usually darker in color. So usually the black or the dark green color, that indicates the presence of phemic minerals, that is ferromagnesium minerals. So this is called as the CIPW classification. So these name you have to remember: Cross, Edding, Pearson and Washington. There were 4 petrologists. So they have prepared a set of norm for the set of standard minerals called as norm for the classification of igneous rock, that is chemical classification of igneous rocks. So next we'll move on to one more classification, that is again based on chemical composition of the minerals. So this classification was proposed by Shand and Holmes. So another mode of chemical classification of igneous rocks, but this is based on the saturation principle. CIPW classification was based on the set of standard minerals called norm, but this classification proposed by Shand and Holmes, this is based on the saturation principle, so which was proposed by Shand and Holmes. So the minerals which are capable of existing in igneous rock in the presence of silica, they are said to be saturated. Means what? The minerals which are capable of existing in silica or in the presence of silica, they are called as saturated minerals. And on the other hand, certain minerals which have low silica content, they are very rarely found in association with silica because of the chemical composition. So these minerals with low silica, they are termed as unsaturated minerals. So these facts may form the basis for the classification. So this classification, which was given by Shand and Holmes, according to them, the igneous rocks can be classified into three types: oversaturated, saturated, and undersaturated rocks. So what are these oversaturated rocks? The rocks containing free silica of magmatic origin, they are called as oversaturated. Means while cooling of the magma. Okay, how igneous rocks are formed? They are formed by cooling and consolidation of magma or lava. So when this magma starts cooling, so it contains the rock which is forming by cooling those minerals, okay, or the magma which is present. That magma contains free silica of magmatic origin. Then such rocks are called as oversaturated rocks. Example is granite. Okay, then saturated rocks, they contain only saturated minerals. The silica is less. Okay, they contain very less silica. So saturated rocks are the rocks containing the saturated minerals. Example is cyanite. And one more type is undersaturated. Undersaturated means those rocks contain the undersaturated minerals. Example is dunite and peridotite. So this is the classification given by Shand and Holmes. Then there was another classification based on the content, silica content. So the composition of igneous rocks may be classified as acidic rocks, intermediate rock, basic and ultra basic rocks. So what is mean by acidic? Acidic means it contains more than 66% of silica. What is acidic? Acidic means the rocks which contain more than 66% of silica. Those rocks are called as acidic rocks. Okay, then there is one more category called intermediate rocks. So intermediate rocks are what? Intermediate rocks, they contain the percentage of silica between 55 to 66%. Then it is called as intermediate igneous rock. If it is containing silica between 55 to 44%, then these rocks are called as basic igneous rocks. So basics are usually basalt and all, they contain very less silica, that is 55 to 44%. So such rocks are called as basic igneous rocks. And the rocks which contain less than 44% of the silica, then they are called as ultra basic. Ultra basic means the rocks containing less than 44% of the silica, then such rocks are called as ultra basic rocks. So based on chemical composition, we have three classifications. One is CIPW classification, then Shand and Holmes classification, and on the basis of chemical composition, the igneous rocks are classified as acidic, basic, intermediate, okay, and ultra basic igneous rock based on the percentage of silica. So this is the classification of chemical classification of igneous rocks. Then we'll move on to the next type of classification, that is the classification of igneous rocks, or you can call it as the textural classification. This is the textural classification. So what is mean by texture? Texture is the minerals which are present in it, okay, and the glassy matter which is present in the rock. So the relationship of those, Okay, that is called as, that forms the texture of the rocks, whether it is coarse grain, fine grain, what type of minerals, what form they have taken, all these is considered as textural. So texture is usually microscopic as well as usually microscopic, and we use the word structure for megascopic feature, that is large scale. Okay, texture will be usually fine grain, which is very difficult to identify by naked eyes. So here this classification, that is textural classification, is also called as classification based on depth of origin. This is called as classification based on depth of origin or textural classification. Okay, so what is that? According to this classification, the rocks are classified into three types: plutonic, volcanic and hypobasal. So this word we have already discussed, what is plutonic and volcanic, when we were discussing about the extrusive and intrusive igneous rocks. So that is same here. So plutonic means the rocks which are formed by magma at a great depth. Okay, this is very important. Plutonic means the rocks formed by magma at a great depth, they are called as plutonic rock. And whereas volcanic rocks are what? They are formed by lava. So what is lava? When the magma comes on the surface, then we call it as a lava. So the volcanic rocks are formed at the surface. Okay, this is important. These plutonic rocks are formed at great depth, whereas volcanic rocks are formed at the surface. So here how the cooling will take place? Because they are forming at great depth below, where the temperature and pressure will be more, so with slow cooling, okay, they result in the slow cooling under great pressure, and they retain the volatile constituent. So what is that volatile constituent? The magma which is cooling, it contains, along with the minerals, it contains different gases and volatile matter also. So because there is no space to escape those gases or the volatile matter, what happens? They preserved, okay, they are stored there only. So with retention of volatile constituent, these rocks are cooled, and because of the slow cooling, they become coarse grained. So grains will be bigger in size, so that is called as coarse grained. Whereas this volcanic rock, how it forms? This solidifies under low pressure because it is cooling down at the surface, at the earth's surface, where the temperature and pressure will be less. So because they are under low pressure, and as they are coming on the surface, there will be loss of volatile constituents, and they are the result of rapid cooling. This is very important. Here the rate is slow cooling, and here the rate is the cooling rate is rapid. Rapid is very fast, sudden cooling. So what happens? Because of the sudden cooling, the grains which are forming, the minerals which are crystallizing, they don't get enough time to crystallize. So that is why they become very fine grained in nature. They are very fine in nature. Okay, you cannot distinguish even individual crystals. So that is called as fine grained. So they are formed at the surface of the earth, okay, under low pressure, and they lose the volatile constituent, and because and the cooling is rapid, and because of the rapid cooling, they are fine grained in nature. Okay, so then the next category comes is your hypobasal rocks. So what is mean by hypobasal? Hypobasal rocks are the intermediate type of rock. So they are formed at shallow depth. Okay, they are formed at shallow depth. Okay, Shallow is intermediate, not at great depth, not at the surface. They are formed at shallow depth. So the hypabyssal group includes the rocks of dike and sill, which we have discussed. These are the discordant and concordant forms of igneous rocks, right? We have discussed. So whenever there is a eruption of magma, okay, when it is cutting across the beds, then we call it as a dike. When the intrusion is along the bedding plane, then we call it as a sill. So usually the rocks which are present in dike and sill, they are called as the hypabyssal rock. They are formed at intermediate depth. So porphyritic texture is very common in hypabyssal rock. So what is the meaning of this porphyritic texture? So porphyritic texture means, suppose this is a cross section of a rock, okay, a thin section of a rock, and porphyritic means you will find bigger crystals as well as the fine ground mass. So it looks like these bigger crystals are called as phenocryst. They are called as phenocryst. Phenocryst means the bigger crystals which are formed, okay, and this fine grain is called as, the fine grain minerals, they are called as ground mass. So what is this porphyritic texture is? It looks like the bigger minerals or bigger crystals, they are embedded in fine grained ground mass. Such texture is called as porphyritic texture. Porphyritic means it is combination of both bigger crystals and the fine crystals. So these porphyritic rocks, okay, are usually hypabyssal rocks. So here I would like to give example of all these three types of rocks. Okay, so here the example for plutonic rock which is formed at great depth is granite, which is very important. Then volcanic rock which is formed by volcano, okay, that is basalt. Okay, so basalt is a volcanic igneous rock which is formed at the surface. And the last category, that is hypabyssal rock, that is showing the porphyritic texture. So here the example includes your syenite or porphyritic rocks, porphyries of all, granite, syenite, okay. Porphyry, okay, we have granite porphyry, syenite porphyry, wherein because it is formed at intermediate depth, it is a mixture of coarse as well as the fine grained, okay, you got it. So we call it as hypabyssal rock, or they are also called as intermediate rocks, intermediate or hypabyssal rocks. So all these, this is called as the textural classification of igneous rocks, or the classification based on the depth of origin. So with this the classification of igneous rocks is over. Okay, textural classification, classification based on chemical composition or mineral content. Okay, then in the next class we will see the different structures shown by igneous rocks, different structures. While cooling of the magma and lava, the rocks, they show some particular structures which you can see with the naked eyes, so we are using the term as structure. Okay, they are bigger, they are large scale features which are shown by the igneous rocks. Thank you.